So I'm in prison now. I am at Sussex 2, aka Saigon, aka the war zone, aka where 70% plus those that are housed on that institution will never see freedom again unless an act of God or a law change, because there's not parole in VA to this day. When I walked into the building, the first thing I can remember is the smell. It was cold. It was institutional. It was oddly familiar and reflecting a school almost, or a barracks, maybe better. And guard said, "You're upstairs. You're going to D pod. When you get to D pod, stop at the office right away. Guard will be in there." I walked up the stairs. And before I could get all the way up the stairs, there was a group about 4 or 5 guys just chilling in the stairwell, literally with their pokers out, waiting for dudes to come back from commissary. Luckily, I had not been to commissary. They seen that I was a new guy coming up from laundry, and they said, "Go ahead, brother, you good." I was shook. I seen all of these things, including a bunch of dudes in the stairwell getting to rob people coming back from commissary, because I heard them talking about it before I even got to my cell. And this is where I'm gonna live for the next 17 years. I kept going. I made it into the dorm or the pod. The officer came to the slider to meet me. And this guy was no harm and disrespect. His intelligence level was, he had to have been somebody they needed bodies for the job, so they just put him there. When I asked him what cell out, he was like, "Well, you're in cell such and such." I was like, "Do I have a cell partner? I'm by myself." He's like, "I think you got a cell partner. Let me see." He didn't even know what was going on in there. So how can you keep us safe, which is your job, and you don't even know who's who, what's what? You don't know who's supposed to be in this cell, who's not. You don't know, right? So he walks me down the cell. He said, "Oh yeah, Omar O's in this cell with you. You're good." As I'm walking to the cell with him, I was looking out in the block, and it's nothing but cement, a few metal tables with metal benches, a TV mounted up on the wall above, 6 phones on the wall, water fountain, hot water spigot, and a booth where a guard standing with a shot with rubber bullets, ready to just, hey, get you. There's a red line in front of all the cells that I would later learn is basically, it's a no-go zone. That once you come out your cell, you have to stop there after the count time, etc. And then the only time you're able to move is once the guard says you can go, or you will get hit with a rubber bullet. Immediately, I kind of stuck my head and I looked. I said, "Whoever lives in here," in my mind, it's like it looked like a little apartment. It blew my mind at first. I was like, because the guy had the floors waxed. He had pictures up. The music was playing. Chessboard was out. There was a lot of books, and immediately he came over. The guy that was supposed to be my cell partner. By then, the guard had walked off. It was literally me for myself. He was like, "Here you go," and that was it. He didn't tell me when we were eating, how to talk to a counselor, nothing. It was just, "Here you go. I'm in prison. I'm in a level 4." I got to say this again. I'm in a level 4. People are looking at me crazy. I'm young. You understand what I'm saying? I used to have hair. I'm young. Everybody in there, everybody's not nice. Everybody's not a stand-up guy. You got predators and all that in prison just like anywhere else. I remember before I came down the road, the old heads used to tell me, "Hey, don't talk to anybody that talks to you. Sit back, observe the scene before you get active. Don't take anything that's offered." They gave me certain rules, and I already knew, like, that's how I was moving. They also told me if anybody tries to, disrespect you, you gotta handle that, because if not, then it's gonna be a long road for you. I was on point. My cell partner came over. He's like, "What's up, man?" I was like, "Nothing, man. I just came here from the jail." He was like, "Hey, man, it's all good. I'm your cell partner." Like I said, his name was O. He was a pretty good dude, man. He had been down already for 20 some years, life sentence, and knew he wasn't going home. And I was grateful that I got put in a cell with an OG. He wasn't on no funny tight time, none of that. He was just super clean. You know, he had his OCD ways that he picked up from being in prison forever. But in my mind, you know, he was the OG. I'm coming in. I'm just trying to learn. And he told me, he was like, don't worry, I'm going to tell you what's what, how to move, blah, blah. Immediately, the first thing he did when we went in the cell, he reached up underneath the lip of the toilet and he gave me a blade. And he said, you're going to need this. He said, it's not nice in here. He said, I'm not talking about the cell. You're good here, but the dorm, the pod, it's not nice. He said, I keep a toothbrush in the door because at this time it was count time, lockdown. He said, I keep a toothbrush in the door in case the guard opens the door when we sleeping because guys will run in here and they'll try to get us and take whatever's in here. He said, and there's mirrors in the corner of the cell in case you sleep with your back turned. You can look at the mirror if the door opens, see if somebody's coming in at you. This is what he told me immediately. Again, never been to prison. He began to talk to me about how to get a job and certain things, and that definitely helped. I was able to end up getting a job in the kitchen, and I'll get to that because that was a whole nother experience. He gave me information on just how to get to the counselor. Like, he was my orientation. What the counselor should have been doing, he was doing. Shout out to, rest in peace, matter of fact. But he gave me that prison 101. I would sit back and observe, like when they popped that cell for the first time, that was my opportunity to go back into the dorm. And he was like, yo, just chill, fall back, just see what's what. I'll tell you if somebody's good people or not. But again, I can't trust him 100%. I don't know him like that. But this is the best thing I got right now. The only possible ally I have. I'm not from VA. I don't know anybody that's up here. I sat on my box against the wall in front of the cell, chilling, looking out in the dorm. And sure enough, a couple dudes came up trying to offer me tobacco, whatever it is. I turned it down immediately. And I found out later on these guys was predators. Nobody came up to me doing a paperwork check where I was at. Nobody really even checked to see if I was affiliated. Every state is different. Every system's different. And when I got locked up, gangbang and stuff like that wasn't as big of an issue until about 2006. This was 2003. And then they called Chow. When we went to Chow, I was toward like the middle of the line. The whole pod has to walk together to the chow house down the stairs. And I remember before we can give it to chow, guys are stepping over something. And I look to see what I'm about to step over. And it's a body. It's somebody that, this dude Marty had his whole jaw twisted and some other things had happened to him. And guys didn't say anything. They just walked right over him. And I did just that. Because Hit told me, said, see but don't see, hear but don't hear. Went to chow, and that's where it got. We went from the dorm with somebody pointing to going to chow and somebody pointing to join at you while you eating the whole time. And it was just a traumatizing experience. And while we were in chow, they ended up locking the institution down because of who we had walked over in the stairwell.